Construction Sport Podcast is back, and I didn't mess it up. And we have Kathryn.
Kathryn,
I already got my T's right as well. Kathryn Evans from Cambridge Family Law Practice.
Well done, Steve. Good start.
Ultimate professional. Yeah. No disturbances. We've got an evening podcast tonight, so I don't get disturbed too much. And that note, actually, make sure I'm on aeroplane mode.
Yeah.
How is everything at the practice?
It is very good, thank you. Yeah, very busy as usual. Perhaps a little bit busier than usual, actually. But yeah, it's all good. All under control. Yeah.
So you
Lots of happy people out there.
Not good for business.
Yeah, sadly, yeah.
So you are, especially in the family law side of things.
So I'm a
Kathryn.
solicitor and I practice in the area of family law. So that is divorce, financial claims on divorce, separation of unmarried couples and the sort of financial aspects of that, disputes about children. I personally don't tend to do this, but some people at my practice do act for people who are the legal side of surrogacy arrangements. So if a child's been born through surrogacy, the sort of side of making that legally recognised, let's say, and also nuptial agreements. You've probably heard in the media about prenuptial agreements, not just the arena of celebrities these days.
That's exactly what I just thought. Yeah.
No. I mean, I've been doing this job for 15 years, and I would say it's ever increasing the amount of prenups that come to us.
Yeah. Is that a fashion thing now as well, do you think?
And do you know, no, I don't. I don't think it is. I think it's just people becoming more aware of them.
Yeah.
I always sort of approach them and say that it's a bit like an insurance policy. You take out your home insurance not because you think your house is going to burn down, but just in case it does.
Yeah.
And for some people, depending on their circumstances, that's what a prenup looks like.
Yeah. So be married a week, and do people take out before? Would they come to you before?
Yes, a prenuptial agreement you would have before you actually get married, but you can have a postnuptial agreement. Those can be triggered by a number of things, but quite often if a marriage hits a rocky patch, let's say, but they decide to work through their difficulties, stay together, but perhaps they want to kind of have an agreement in place to say what would happen if the relationship did come to an end. Bit of a security normally for one person.
Do they come to together to discuss this?
That's a really good question, actually. No, generally not to me. No, one of them will come to me and I'll advise that person, and generally the other person will go to a different firm, different solicitor.
Can they both come to you?
Some of our...
Or do you have to let them know?
Well, nuptial agreements...
What about your husband last week?
Oh, God, yeah, well, no, we have to be very careful in our line of work with conflict checks. So when anyone comes to us about anything, we have to check on our system that we haven't even had really shouldn't have had a conversation which we've given any advice whatsoever or heard any information from the other party. And certainly with nuptial agreements, one of the important factors is that both people have independent legal advice. So... no, generally that does not happen.
I suppose the same with your house as well, isn't it, really? Almost no different solicitors
as
well, isn't it?
Slightly different. I think, I'm not a conveyancing expert, but I think in theory you could have the same firm, but with certain sort of bars up between the communication. I mean, I should just say there is something now in family law where we sort of have like a one lawyer thing where a couple of the partners in my firm have had specialist training where in certain strict circumstances they can act for both parties, but that's where, for example, they're very much on the same page and just need a bit of advice to finalise things. It's quite rare. I personally haven't done that training yet.
Yeah, interesting stuff.
Not where the action is.
Nothing interesting over there yet. How long have you been doing it for, you say?
About 15 years now.
15 years. How did you get into it? What was the path?
Oh, so I went to uni in Leeds and I did law and French, and then I went travelling and I thought I wanted to go into journalism. Or something similar. And then that didn't work out. Then I wanted to go in civil service. Then that didn't work out. Yeah. So then third option, I did the legal practice course and got a training contract at a regional firm. And here I am.
Oh, really? Yeah. More important, did you do the Otley Mile?
The Otley Run.
Otley Run, is it? Otley Run, sorry.
Three-legged Otley Run in fancy dress. I think that was like my first week at uni. And there I was, a naive... 18-year-old, and I mean, how many? I can't remember. 16, 13.
It's up there,
plus?
Isn't it? I know. Yes, definitely in the double figures.
Yeah.
We went there for a rugby tour once. A rugby tour, one of the lads' 30th, so birthday. Stag do it was. Yeah.
I mean, there's some great places up there. I do love Leeds. I worked for 6 months up there actually as for a secondment for probably about 5-6 years ago now, and that was really good fun.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, it's a
Otley
great city.
Yeah. Still going. There's loads of pubs. Pint at each one. Never go well. Moving on. That's another side of law.
Yeah.
What went wrong?
Yeah, what went wrong, yeah.
Do you have busy times of years? Do you have peaks and troughs? Or
Yeah, it's fine. So I think
trends?
So the media will have you believe, and I don't know, is there some truth in this, that sort of January, 2nd of January, 3rd of January, that's when all the law firms kick off. I think perhaps there's a little bit of truth in that, because I think people want to, if they're thinking about separation or they're thinking about taking big steps within a separation, they'll wait to get Christmas out of the way, especially obviously if they've got kids.
Yeah.
And actually summer holidays as well. After the summer holidays,
Yeah,
people wait to
and I
get
sort
through
of say if
that.
kids are involved just after birthdays, and it could be any time of year, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's the sad side of it, really. But I have to say, normally August is quiet, but my August this year was mad, really
Was it
mad.
really?
Just a combination of things being court hearings being listed and stuff. But yeah.
Are you seeing trends at the moment where pressure of life is just harder, more business comes through?
I think during COVID and then sort of thereafter, there was a little bit of a pause or a slowdown, people waiting to see what would happen. That all then picked up, and I think there was a bit of a rush once we got back off the ground after COVID, because those people who'd sort of waited were like, well, I can't wait any longer. Let's get on with this. Let's get this sorted.
Yeah.
Of course, everyone's a bit more cost aware now. And let's be frank, my work is a distressed purchase. You know, no one wants to spend money on on a family lawyer, really, generally.
What happened during COVID? Did people just, if people want to go for what the court systems do?
Oh, man, they were on their knees.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all sorts of stories of like, oh God, someone told me one recently where, you know, like a judge was like on his bed, sat on his bed with like an unmade bed. Just like,
I did it online.
Giving online judgment and stuff, like really, really poor stuff like that.
Judging me like a state your bedroom.
Exactly, like that kind of thing. And I don't know, I won't say that one. I had a really funny one about a judge was in a hearing, an online hearing, and his wife walked past the camera, didn't realise she was on camera, and maybe like flashed him or something, and they got caught, something like that. That's what I heard. I wasn't personally on the hearing. So, but no, that's the funny side. But the less funny side is that so many hearings were cancelled and delayed, and we're still facing that. It's not just COVID related. You know, there is a massive lack of funding across the whole justice system, and it's impacting family law, both sort of private law work that I do, public law, which you would know is like the care system. It's all impacted, and everyone is struggling.
So they need funding literally just from the state itself. What, to have these courts open?
Have the courts open, to have the staff, to train the judges. It's really quite dire. I can give you an example without betraying any confidentiality. I had a court hearing in August 2024, and the judge in that hearing said that a hearing had to be listed urgently. That was what the judge directly said.
Oh, wow.
And we didn't get the hearing for 15 months after that, and that was supposed to be urgent, and that's it's not atypical, really.
What gives it the urgency or non?
Oh, it depends. So just to be clear, I only do private law work, so I don't do anything, or generally don't do anything to do with care proceedings. So I'm parking that. But in terms of urgency, often it will be to do with the welfare of children.
Will it?
So, for example, where one parent isn't seeing the children at all, that's often treated as urgent.
Really?
Yeah, not always, and sometimes it should be and it's not. Or, for example, if a child has been removed to another jurisdiction without the other parent's consent or something like that, so taken abroad, things like that. There's all sorts of reasons, really. Oh, and things, so I should mention this. So, for example, if there's allegations of domestic abuse, quite often that might be treated as urgent. But, you know, it's sad, really, because sometimes people come to us and their situation to them is urgent, whether that be finance related or children or whatever, and having to say to someone, can
you judge this for me?
Then no one's going to treat that as urgent. I'm sorry, as in the court's not going to treat that as urgent. That's really hard for them to hear, because to them it's the most important and significant thing that's ever happened to them quite often.
Do you take a lot of flack for that yourselves as well? Are you able to put yourself in a decent position?
No, I think we have to be honest and upfront. And I think a big part of my job is managing expectations. There's no,
I've had parenthood.
Oh Christ, yeah, doesn't it? I've had it with clients before where I'm quite straight talking, and I sort of say, look, I can tell you what you want to hear, and I can say, you're going to win this, you're going to get that, but that's not necessarily the case, and all you're going to do is get upset with me at the end if that's not what we've achieved. I'd rather say, look, this is the parameters within which we're working, this is what we're going to aim towards, but realistically it might look like this, and we'll do the best we can. I think that's what people are paying me for, not just to tell them what they want to hear.
Do you find that thing surprises you still in different calls?
I say this a lot, but my job is many things, but it is never, ever boring. I've never had a boring day at work. Well, I have, but not in this job. Not in the 15 years of been doing family law. I did when I worked in a shoe shop a long time ago, but not for many, many years. And it can be stressful and frustrating and challenging, but it is never, ever boring.
Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, sometimes it's the people that are involved. Sometimes it's the assets or the sort of facts within the case that are crazy, or what happens at court's crazy. But yes, every so often you get one you think, oh my goodness, this is absolutely bonkers.
And you just can't call it.
No, I mean,
It always goes a different way.
Well, I think sometimes the writing's on the wall from the start, but no, you certainly do get some that either something will come out the woodwork that you weren't expecting, or there'll be a twist or a turn, or, you know, as we say to our clients, different judge, different day. You know, the family law is partly made up of statute, but obviously a lot of case law as well. And the sort of range of outcomes that a judge could give you can vary quite considerably and be a correct judgment and non-appealable. So, you do get the odd ones where you're like, oh man, that's not what we were expecting or hoping for. But thankfully, those are few and far between. Normally, you've got a good idea of where you're going to land.
And I suppose there's a lot of them will go positively.
Oh, yeah.
In the right way. That you maybe didn't expect.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
For sure. It's crazy, isn't it? I'm just trying to think. When do people contact you then? When should they contact you?
Yeah. So most clients will come, I guess you've got 3 categories generally. One will be the person who is kind of leading the separation or come to the decision first. Maybe they haven't even told their partner that they want to end the relationship, and they will reach out to you. That's quite a proactive person. We get a lot of those. Or you'll get the person who's being blindsided or really doesn't want the separation, and either they've received something from their partner's solicitor, or just their partner said, look, it's over, and they're like, oh my God, like what the hell do I do? Where do I start? And then I guess the third category, which is probably the much smaller category, is where 2 people have mutually come to the decision and they've said, right, okay, we both need to go and get independent legal advice, and one comes to you, and that's fine. That's quite rare, to be honest. Normally, we talk about it that usually one person is further along the journey of a relationship breakdown than the other person. And I think bridging that gap is a big part of not just not just getting through it legally, but also getting through it in terms of well-being and emotional support, is accepting that you might be ahead of or behind your now ex-partner in terms of coming to terms with the breakdown of the relationship.
Do you see trends in with a lot of people when kids have fled the nest as such, or when people hit retirement?
Definitely. More and more. So there's been reported in the media a little while ago now with this sort of silver divorces and things like that. And I think more people, as we're living longer.
That's what they call it, silver divorce.
Yeah, something like that. I think, we sort of media phrases. But I think, people are living longer and generally having a higher quality of life later on in life than they might have done, let's say, 30, 40 years ago. So they're sort of thinking, well, why shouldn't I have another crack at life when I'm 60 or beyond? I mean, I've definitely acted for, I don't know if I've ever acted for anyone in their 90s, but definitely a load of people in their 80s. Yeah, for sure. And obviously you've got other sort of considerations at that point, time pressures, let's say, potential time pressures. You get all sorts of people come through the door, all sorts of people. Yeah,
it's amazing. Is it true? I heard 98% go in favour of the mother all the time. Tell me it's a load of crap. Cool. No, I want you to prove it wrong. I heard that years ago.
No, I mean the stuff. God, I could talk about the myths of family law. Like it's it's crazy. No, there is no. Right, on the face of it, there is no bias between men and women. Whether there are some subtle unconscious biases amongst the judiciary, the judges, I couldn't say for sure. Sometimes it feels like that a little bit. But in terms of anything blatant like that, no, absolutely not. I've acted for loads and loads of men who secured sort of, the majority care of their children for very good reasons. And I've acted for men and women who've had to pay their ex-husbands maintenance and things like that. So no, it's a load of rubbish, generally speaking.
Yeah, it's just blokes might find an excuse not to do it, I suppose. Isn't it? I heard it years ago. It was 98% them, and then X amount of kids are born in fatherless backgrounds. That's why the prisons are full up. And you don't know what to believe with stats. To be honest, it's one thing we do, even at the charity side here now, is ignore stats and all that.
Right. Yeah.
You can take them in any way.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because when I was doing my research for tonight, I sort of had a little Google into divorce in the construction industry. Yeah. And found this website, and it came up with all these stats of, so-and-so percentage of divorces in so-and-so year were people working in the construction industry. And I was like, that is utter rubbish. And I know that because you don't put your profession on your divorce application.
Oh, really?
No.
Interesting.
So this website looked like a crock of shit anyway. But literally,
tell us off camera.
You'd have to
track them down.
Yeah. No, but unless you were really going to do some proper research and have permission to look at some quite significant documentation that just a standard divorce wouldn't produce, you'd never know that. So I was like, I completely disregarded that.
There's we have a lot. They says 2 workers are taking their own lives every single day. What's kind of been a going figure for the last 10 years. Now, that used to be every working day, but then everyone said, well, construction works 24/7. So what day is that? Don't really know. Office National Statistics, class, any course. So if you take your own life, Office National Statistics says it can be construction related. But that category actually takes into consideration anyone who's gone to college. So that would take in florists, jewellers, I think was another, hairdressers. All these people go to colleges, so it all gets pulled into it.
So completely irrelevant to a certain extent.
And it all turns out that mental health and there's no employment law around the mental health subject, especially suicide. There isn't anything in place to oversee that in the workplace. And there's laws outside it, but in the workplace it's not there. So there is no evidence or anything there. So that's where our big push at the moment is to really look at the suicide.
What is the true?
Yeah, we really want Professor Sarah Waters is the lady studying it, and Ruth Perry, the headmistress that took her own life.
Yes.
It was Ruth Perry, wasn't it? Yep. Who took her own life. I was getting the surname mixed up. She took her own life. She left a note behind saying that the Ofsted report was so much pressure on her. She'd done that. The evidence is there. The work-related stress has led her to take her own life. But this Professor Sarah Waters is studying it because it's all gone forward and it's not been taken as a suicide related to the health and safety executive. Suicide says it's a personal issue that needs to be dealt with, not workplace issue. Yeah. But you're like, clearly. But we've had that, and I spotted that a couple of years back, and I've been saying in construction, and it's gone quite well. We make suicide a riddle. You get riddles, come along, and it's all employment. And I make suicide a riddle on the side of a van, and I stuck it in the middle of an exhibition. And a few people come around and was like, that would never happen, like 3 years ago. And now people have started to come around in the last couple of years going, this has raised its head a few times. And only last week it come up, Sussex Police and also the Police Federation of England and Wales, I think it's called, has made a little Channel 4 documentary pushing the same thing because the amount of police officers that take their own lives off the back of the stress. But look at all this shit they deal with. This Channel 4 documentary looked at I can't remember the guy's names, the police officers who are all like rapists and murderers, and now all these police officers have been tarnished with that brush. Every day they go to work, they've got a camera in their face. It would have been such a rewarding job on the beat in your own village years ago, wouldn't it? But now you think, fuck that. Why would anyone want to go and do a job like that?
I mean, I've heard anecdotally, like paramedics and things, obviously some of the scenes they attend, awful. And they don't get offered any support as far as I'm aware, or very rarely any counselling or support or anything like that. I mean, there's a charity called Law Care that sort of aims to raise awareness for mental health within the legal profession.
Yeah, and deal with.
Yeah, so they did a survey. I was looking at this earlier between January and March of this year, actually, and 59% of the people that responded said they had poor mental well-being, which is quite high, I think. And then 50% said they suffered from anxiety often, very often, or all the time related to their work. So, I'm familiar. Let's say, obviously, it's different, probably different type of stresses and strains between industries, but overall, that umbrella of work-related stress is high. Yeah, and I think in a way, it's a bit of a vicious circle because quite often relationships come to an end because of stress at work or the pressures of work, and equally, stresses within relationships can cause issues at work, and people quite often find themselves in that spiral. It's not easy time.
It's savage, isn't it? That's why we're on a bit of a hunt at the moment to link up with all these other industries to say that if we all come together at this, we're all dealing with the same stuff. And who come in the other day? Someone said it. Someone come in the other day and they said they went back to their line of work and it come X amount of people have admitted. It was accountancy. Yeah, John from Pocknell's up the road here. He said a huge amount of people questioned from the accountancy practice have all confirmed that they've sat at their desk and cried.
Oh, yeah.
Just put their head on the table and just gone.
I think accountancy is similar to legal in the sense that we have very high regulation.
Yeah.
And, you know, if I cocked up, for example, I could lose my license to practice and that'd be the end of my
So you have a
livelihood.
license, you do a license to practice.
Yeah. So,
is that you personally or the company?
Well, yes. Yeah. Obviously, I want to get the company in trouble either. But, so there is a high bar. And not that for 1 minute I've ever come close to that, but there is this sort of pressure of meeting those regulations, which are absolutely reasonable and should be in place. Not saying they shouldn't, but and also I think, especially with family law, you're dealing with people at probably the worst time of their lives. And as I said to you earlier about the sort of court delays and things, for them it's the most significant thing, and therefore, you know, why shouldn't they expect very quick service, very quick responses? But you know, you can't always deliver that to everyone all the time when, you know, I might be in court all day on another matter. And so, you know, I think that adds an element of stress when you're dealing with people going through a really tricky time.
And it is that classic case of don't bring your shit to work, and it like you've got to be on the ball. Yeah. I mean, everyone knows that's like, you're just trying to get on with your own day job and something in the background like, fuck, something's going on.
I think it's funny how for some people, and I think this is probably true for me, work is their sort of almost safe space, whereas whatever's going on at home or stresses outside of work, like when you're sort of plugged in at work, you're plugged in.
Yep.
But for other people, I think it's different, and they find it really hard to focus at work when stuff's
especially trying to divide, working from home as well now, isn't it? Your home and your work is in the same place. I couldn't do that full time.
No, I go to the office 2 days a week and I work from home 3, and for me that's the right balance.
Yeah, I can go upstairs. I literally get back in the afternoon 2 or 3 o'clock and go upstairs for an hour or two, and then still the banging on the door.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But that is in my head, and how people. Christ, I remember we've had COVID during COVID, and they did 10 days indoors. That felt like some kind of punishment. All of us are chomping, and even Laura. And at least nothing to do with the rest of the family. It's me. I can't do stuff indoors. I literally hate DIY indoors. I hate just being indoors. I can just be up and at it. You know what I mean? But just be able to told, you can't just pop out.
Yeah,
like,
cabin fever.
Yeah, cabin fever. I
get it.
suffer of cabin fever.
I get
clammy hand and then get all panicky.
You asked me earlier when people should come and get legal advice, and I was just thinking about that. I think that I think there's a big thing about let's not get solicitors involved. It costs money and all this kind of jazz. But actually, I think early advice is advisable. Obviously, I'm not just saying that because that's my job. I think before you can sort of make decisions, plot a way forward, just getting a baseline understanding of your situation is really important. You don't have to take that advice. You don't have to proceed with taking more advice, but just to get a bit of help. And obviously you can come to solicitors like me or Citizens Advice Bureau. I mean, it's another underfunded service, isn't it? But that quite often they can offer something. A lot of solicitors will offer sort of a free half hour or free chat, that kind of thing. Yeah. But it is really important. But it's not the only thing you should be doing if, relationships come to an end. And I think it's really important to look after yourself. And I always sort of say to people, look, you're going to get through this a lot easier if you're in as best a place as you can be. Obviously, you're not going to be the happiest you've ever been because it's a really bad time. But the temptation is there, obviously, to go out on a bender or whatever. Just eat well, drink well, exercise, take support where you can. And some people are lucky enough to have lots of friends and family.
Yeah.
Not everyone has that. And I think also that might not be where you lean towards for support if, friends and family might think they're doing the right thing by sort of taking your side and, that's not right, mate, and all this kind of stuff. But actually
causes more. Yeah,
you want a bit more neutral support. And I don't think you can underestimate the value of therapy and counselling in those sorts of services. And the amount of times I've said to clients, look, actually, you stop phoning me to talk these things, moan at me about your ex. Yeah, I'm not trained. That's not my expertise. And actually, I'm probably a bit more expensive. So, but get the support alongside it, because that will make the whole process as easy as it can be. Yeah. And that will be difficult.
And is there kind of payment plans and procedures that you have in place? As I know, every case is completely different. Or do you work out a case-by-case situation?
Yeah, well, so we have a fixed hourly rate, and in terms, people fund legal fees in different ways. So some people obviously are lucky enough just to have the money; it's no big deal. But that's not the case for many people.
Get him or her to pay for it on the other side.
Well, that's there are situations where you can do that. But no, some people borrow from family or friends or borrow commercially. There are sort of specialist, what we call litigation loans from companies that it tends to be sort of high interest, but with the idea that they'll lend you all the money you need to pay your legal fees, with the understanding that they'll get it back quite quickly because, for example, a house is being sold or something like that.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. So, say whoever the breadwinner is in the house is out earning the money, but the person who's not the breadwinner, say it's me, you're here, how do I then, if I want to pay for it? Yeah, so you can get that kind of
you can.
support
In theory, yes.
Off the record.
Let's say the classic scenario would be along those lines where, let's say there's a house with a load of equity in it, and we know that house is going to be sold at some point, but it may not be until the end of a long drawn out court process. But if one person doesn't have access to any other way to pay for legal fees and they want legal advice, then they might choose to apply for one of these litigation loans, and the litigation loan provider will assess that situation and will probably come to the conclusion, there's a load of equity that we know we're going to get paid back. We'll lend the money, and obviously in their business is the interest that they'll make on that loan. Legal aid these days is it's so hard to get any sort of legal aid. So I mean, that's, to be honest, that's really was cut right at the start of my career. So it's very sort of limited circumstances where anyone would get legal aid. Usually linked to domestic abuse, and even then it's means tested.
So I was just thinking that, it's the domestic abuse thing. So would they even say that we'll communicate with you privately, not by putting letters through your door as well? I was just thinking, because I'm thinking you try and have that if there's a domestic abuse case, then suddenly a letter comes through the door. Thanks for taking up a litigation loan with us. Here's your.
You wouldn't get the funding just.
Should have opted out the fucking post.
You wouldn't get the funding just for domestic abuse, because it has to be linked for finances, generally speaking, anyway. But all that side of it is pretty grim, to be honest. But it's
is it a long procedure? Every procedure is long.
Every case. So I mean, we have no fault divorce now, and part of the trade-off is getting no fault divorce. And what that means basically is, up until I think it was April 2022, you had to have a reason to get divorced that you had to sort of put within your divorce petition, as it was known then. And now we have no fault divorce, so you don't have to have any reason to get divorced. But the trade-off to get that legislated was that there's a longer period from when you start the divorce process to when you can kind of progress it to the next stage. So let's say you have a couple who are completely amicable, but they just want to bring everything to an end. They agree on everything. They just want to go through the formalities. The absolute quickest you could get that done by is probably about 7 months from start to finish.
Really,
and that's no short period of time, really. But for most cases will go on for a year, at least, some a lot more.
Do you get people just holding off, stallers?
You get all sorts. Interestingly, you get the odd one, and I've acted for them and I've acted against them, where they say they want it done, and I think they want it done, but actually I think they can't let go.
Really?
I think they want to hold on, and then you do get some
bullshitting
people
up front, and then suddenly.
I think it's just that. I don't know what it is. And then you get some people who actually actively don't want to let go. And that is abusive in itself, I think, where they just want to keep the other person.
They play dumb and everything.
Hanging on quite often, And
what does someone do with that?
Well,
the police matter then?
It very much depends on the sort of situation. If I was acting against someone like that, then obviously we'd probably go at it hammer and tongs to try and get it resolved and push forward. But sometimes you act for the bad guy as well. And,
what's better then?
But part of my role is to, I think, obviously I act on my client's instructions, but I can't mislead the court. That's part of my duty as a solicitor. As a decent human being, I will encourage people to behave responsibly, especially if there's children involved. And try and bring it back to what's best for the kids.
Yeah, so there's got to be that element of you as well. Or from the outside looking in, I wish I was neutral on this one, because this is a good movie. It's law and order stuff.
Oh yeah. Like I say, I mean, I can't share all the stuff I've seen and heard, but I could write books about it. I really could.
When you retire from your practice.
Oh my God, maybe, yeah.
Amazing stuff. Well,
thank you.
So people get in touch. You can let them know. Half hour free only. Do you do half hours?
I will have a chat. I'll have a chat. Yeah. I'll have a chat. No problem. But it's not just court. I want to make that clear that there's a big push, partly because of all the delays in the court system, but not just that. There are other options that solicitors can lead you through. We call it non-court dispute resolution. So mediation's a massive one. I've just had a really good success with what we call hybrid mediation, where I was with my client through the mediation process, and his estranged wife was with her solicitor, and we had a great mediator. And it was a bit of a slog, but we got there and it was worth it. And they
sit together in the same room, effectively.
We did it over Teams, Microsoft Teams, but we could have done it in the same room, to be honest. And overall, it saved them money, it saved them some time, and it's cut the animosity that would have occurred.
I just think it must be good if people come in the room, backs up, no one knows what way it's going to go. And I suppose they're all going to be showing different sides to themselves that they've actually never seen each other in.
Yeah.
But then they can come out actually quite happy and, right, let's all move on.
Yeah, not many people come out happy. I think
straight to Heathrow.
Yeah, no, I think generally speaking that it doesn't matter how much money you've got. If you are dealing with finances on a separation or I should say on a divorce, then you're going to be splitting it. So you could have hardly any money, it's split, you've got less, or you could have loads of money, well, it's split, you've got less. That's the end of it. So there are very rarely, it's true what they say, it's very rarely a winner in family law. Sometimes there is, but very, very discrete circumstances. And quite often it's just trying to unpick a bit of a mess so that everyone can move on with their lives. Yeah. And like I said, I mentioned earlier about the kids, I would say that in the moment, the emotions can be extremely high, but try and keep one eye on the fact that if you've got young children, to a certain extent or another, you're going to be co-parenting with that other person for a long time to come. And you want to look forward. If your kids get married, you want to be able to be at the same wedding. You want to both sit on the top table. It's not always possible, but actually it should be in most circumstances. And the biggest one that someone said to me early on in my career that I've passed on to clients time and time again is you can't control the actions of your ex, but you can control your reactions to that person. And I think that's a big one. Because you if nothing else, you be the bigger person, even if they're not.
Is there, this might be outside of it or much, somebody's right in saying even if you're not married, but you've got children together, you effectively could be split 50-50.
No. So this is a big myth.
Is it?
The common law spouse, common law wife, common law husband, absolute bollocks. Doesn't exist.
Is it? Yeah.
No, nothing. So in those circumstances, it all comes down to sort of the like laws of property, really, is the starting point. So if you own a house together, that was how it'd be treated, and regardless of the kids. There's a slight exception to that in that you can have financial claims for your children, but they're very limited. And generally, if you were to get, let's say, more than half of the house because you've got the kids for one reason or other, chances are that extra bit has to go back to the other person when the children, let's say, reach 18. So
there's plenty of myths out there, right?
Oh, so many myths. But no, I mean, there's a big move to try and change the law for what we call cohabiting couples rather than married couples now. They've been talking about it for years and years. I don't know when or if it will change.
Are you just in the Cambridge area where the cases you have can be anywhere?
Anywhere, I mean, obviously these days,
England and Wales, is that? Or Scotland different?
Yeah, so the jurisdiction of England and Wales, that's where I'm qualified to practice. But we have clients all over the country. We do a lot of London work because I think we have a slightly, we do have a lower hourly rate than what a lot of London firms do, but we have a good quality of work. But obviously we have clients who live abroad or who have assets abroad as well. Got a wide range of good work that comes our way.
Yeah, super. And people can all get in touch and help. The Scottish law is much different up there.
Yeah, it can be very different actually. A lot of them,
It's incredible, isn't it? But even the construction world, we go up there to look at the colleges and how they run, all completely different. They really do want independence, don't they?
Yeah. No, and you have to be careful because you sort of think about it before answering questions like that. But no, I've got a lot of sort of counterparts in other jurisdictions that if you're always better to check and get.
Is there crossovers when you've got someone? Can you have a client? Yeah, you've got two people married, but then one of them goes to Scotland, lives in Scotland, and they're trying to fight different. Yes,
you can have like what we call a jurisdictional dispute, and there have been many of those. So where one person tries to start the divorce in one because they've worked out it's better for them. I mean, I don't know if you heard that London's known in some parts as the capital of divorce in the world.
Oh, really?
Because quite often it's considered to be more protective of the sort of non-earning or the lower-earning spouse, the weaker party. So you've probably heard of the Russian oligarchs, the wives of the Russian oligarchs.
So that's sort of strategically done.
Yeah, quite often. Well, one might say.
And we're going to get watching a cup of tea and be spiked before you know it. Amazing stuff. Well, we said the other day actually when this podcast happened, it'll be a good research podcast and a bit of knowledge for us when we go out there and speak to people and go, look, boom.
Yeah.
I think we've covered most of the stuff. Isn't it? We haven't covered any little pad
there.
I think
my little note. But no, I think. Look, I just want to say that it can be a really tough time for people, and we often say it's a bit like a bereavement curve, and there's different phases of it. But even in the sort of real lows of it, whenever that may come, there is always a light at the end of the tunnel, and your future may not look like what you thought it would the day you got married or whatever it might be, but it can be your own new front door, and a new start to a new chapter. So hang on in there.
Yeah, no, amazing stuff, Kathryn. Thanks for coming
you,
down. What is? Do you have to keep up with the law stuff changing? Is there much things coming on in the future?
Yeah. Well, case law develops all the time. We don't get that many sort of statutory law changes in family law. Every so often we do, but not that often. But yeah, case law can develop. Keep an eye on it. We do lots of courses. It's interesting. I mean, I guess these cases are fascinating, and so it's a good area of law to learn.
When you watch things like Law and Order or different films, do you just think, load of shit?
Yeah. What was the one, The Split? I mean, rubbish. Like, what makes me laugh is that one in, what was it? Oh, the one in that Meghan Markle was in Suits. Thank you. Yes. And it used to make me laugh how they used to swap sides as to who they were acting for.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They'd fall about, well, now I'm acting for him. And I'd be like, I know it's a different jurisdiction, but I'm pretty sure you can't do that. Yeah.
Hollywood just can't get it right. Yeah. Hollywood cannot get it right. But thank you, Kathryn,
for
coming
down.
Thank you
for the time. Interesting.
Anytime. Yeah, I'm sure there can be some stuff we can go forward. I need you to come back in. We've had something come up.
Yeah. It's all good.
With the sorry, did you touch on that big case last week? Because it's something we can't discuss at the moment. No, we won't.
Yeah. Thank you.
We'll tell you about it in a few weeks' time. Once it's all settled. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Over and out.